We unleash overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country.
So, of course, it wasn't just Donald Trump who gave a speech to the top-ranked individuals of the United States military, general ranks, the E9s, mainly what I saw in the crowd, sergeants major, command sergeants major from the Army. I don't know, the Air Force ranks are a little weird for me. Master tech sergeant, this or that. Stripes that go up and that go down. It's a whole bunch. I admittedly don't know much about the Air Force ranks. But these are responsible people, mostly. Obviously, there's probably some POS that kind of have not been weeded out, who are racists, who are white nationalists in the ranks. Fewer among officers, though, than there are among enlisted. That's just my experience. And Pete Hegseth gave a rousing, bizarre, insane speech. What he hoped would be rousing, because it was to an absolutely silent room who was just taking in the information from their leader, Pete Hegseth, who had a message that if you disagree, this is, by the way, after he had said a bunch of stuff about how we can all disagree, we can have conversations, and that's what it's all about, to get to the truth. After saying a bunch of that kind of thing, he said this about, if you don't like it, you can do the honorable thing and resign right now.
Words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. We would thank you for your service.
That set the tone and the tenor for the morning. It set what the agenda of this entire thing was. A lot of people were concerned that it was going to be some kind of a loyalty pledge to the dear leader himself. And maybe that took place behind closed doors. Who knows? We'll have to see in the coming days. But this was about changing the personnel objectives of the United States military. If you don't like it, get out. If you don't like it, we don't want your divergent opinion. We don't want a multiplicity of ideas to fuel a responsive and dynamic United States military. No, no, no. If you don't like it, GTFO. And then hopefully, I think what his intent is that once we get rid of the wokesters, once we get rid of the people who don't think that slavery was wonderful and a necessary evil for the country, then we can attend to justifying war crimes. We can ensure that people who are Nazis, who are white nationalists, who are racists, who are avowed enemies of the country, they can still stay in the military and end their career there. I'm not just saying it. We're going to back it up right here. We'll begin with the claim about the war crimes, because they want a new breed of individual who has contempt for, disregard for the rules of war. And that might sound oxymoronic, that there are rules of war, but there are rules of war. It starts with the rules of engagement, but it's also how you comport yourself. You can't fire at someone who's just coming down on a parachute if they're not firing at you. You can't you can't kill people who have surrendered. There are rules to warfare. And Pete Hegseth is beside himself that that's the case. He calls rules of engagement stupid in this clip and sets up the culture in the military to disregard those norms, those rules, the international law that sets the stage for these rules. Watch leaky Pete Hegseth, who hasn't seen top secret information he didn't want to tweet about or text about on Signal, talk to his generals.
We are preparing every day. We have to be prepared for war, not for defense. We're training warriors, not defenders. We fight wars to win, not to defend. Defense is something you do all the time. It's inherently reactionary and can lead to overuse, overreach, and mission creep. War is something you do sparingly, on our own terms, and with clear aims. We fight to win. We unleash overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Just common sense, maximum lethality, and authority for warfighters. That's all I ever wanted as a platoon leader.
Stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. That language might be normal in some other context, but not coming out of the mouth of Pete Hegseth, who has literally defended people who committed war crimes, murders in a forward operating area, the unjustified shooting, killing of civilians, women and children. Pete Hegseth has defended. And he drives the point home when he says, we all serve at the pleasure of Donald Trump.
You have seen, and the media has obsessed over, I have fired a number of senior officers since taking over. The previous chairman, other members of the Joint Chiefs, combatant commanders, and other commanders. The rationale for me has been straightforward. It's nearly impossible to change a culture with the same people who helped create or even benefited from that culture, even if that culture was created by a previous president and previous secretary. My approach has been simple. When in doubt, assess the situation, follow your gut, and if it's the best for the military, make a change. We all serve at the pleasure of the president every single day.
Now that he set the loyalty stage, now what he wants to do is lessen the standards for your run-of-the-mill, everyday warfighters, your members of the military, your lance corporals in the Marine Corps, your corporals, your sergeants. He wants them to look an unblemished record. I think that's the term he uses here. The term of art he's using here. You shouldn't have your career ruined if you have an unblemished record, if you've done something wrong, if you've made a mistake. And I believe that to be true. We all deserve redemption and forgiveness for some of the mistakes we've made. But some things are disqualifying. And that's the thing he's talking about. He's talking about racism. He's talking about bigotry. He's talking about hate speech. He's talking about joining an insurrection against the country on January 6, 2021, that if that's on your service record, that shouldn't end your career. Violating your oath to the Constitution and attempting to overthrow the United States government. Oh, come on, guys. You want to end a guy's career for that? Yeah. Watch this.
And NCOs don't take necessary risks or make tough adjustments for fear of rocking the boat or making mistakes. A blemish-free record is what peacetime leaders covet the most, which is the worst of all incentives. We, as senior leaders, need to end the poisonous culture of risk aversion and empower our NCOs at all levels to enforce standards.
And not only that, they are overhauling the Inspector General processes through which investigations get done to investigate where there are sexual assault allegations, where there are systemic issues of failure within the ranks. They're going to allow these failures to take place. They're going to promote the failure of our troops, of our unit. And if you don't believe me, just listen to Pete Hegseth.
We are overhauling an Inspector General process, the IG, that has been weaponized, putting complainers, ideologues, and poor performers in the driver's seat. We're doing the same with the equal opportunity and military equal opportunity policies, the EO and MEO at our department. No more frivolous complaints, no more anonymous complaints, no more repeat complainants, no more smearing reputations, no more endless waiting, no more legal limbo, no more sidetracking careers, no more walking on eggshells.
See, all of that language coming from him, knowing what we know about Pete Hegseth, knowing what we know about the man that he is loyal to over the Constitution, over his duty as the leader of the Department of Defense. That tells you everything. When he's talking about no more walking on eggshells, no more frivolous complaints. Those words do a lot of heavy lifting. Walking on eggshells, frivolous complaints, says the man who's credibly accused of raping women, the drunkard. He would call those frivolous complaints. Are those frivolous complaints, or are those serious things that need to be rooted out in order to ensure good order and discipline within the ranks? Good and decent unit cohesion to build morale, to strengthen esprit de corps, which is something Donald Trump talked about outside the White House today, having no idea what it is, having never served in the military, having his number was called and he got out of it because of the feat. Oh, this hero, this patriot. Donald Trump, who molests the flag. Pete Hegseth, who violates flag code with his American flag belt buckle. The American flag inner lining of his coat. The American flag pocket silk. All of that violates flag code. But to the patriot, Pete Hegseth, the man who wants to promote war crimes, the man who wants to promote racism in the ranks, not to him. Anyway, what do you think? Did you watch this? I welcome your feedback here. You can comment below this video wherever you're watching. You can also call the voicemail line. But before you do, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and you like and follow the page over on Facebook, Dollemore Daily. Then you can comment and you can call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me as always, daily@dollemore.com. And if you choose to help support this work with $2 a month, you can become a channel member on YouTube. Click the join button below the video or just on the channel. And you can go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love and appreciate you very much. Weird times. Be genuine. Take care of one another.